must fight the battle for dignity.
We begin in the middle of the 19th century. In Europe, the rise of nationalism undermines the dominant powers. The Kingdom of Sardinia, allied to France, defeats the Austrian Empire and obtains Italian unification. Prussia, which eyes the German Confederation, also defeats the Austrians to create the North German Confederation. 5 years later, it allies with the southern German states, defeats France and obtains the creation of the German Empire, which is proclaimed in Versailles. The new country takes over Alsace-Lorraine. To discourage French revenge attacks, Germany moves diplomatically closer to Austria-Hungary and Russia, and it rapidly develops its industry and army. In the southeast of the continent, insurgencies threaten the Ottoman Empire. Russia, its historical enemy, takes advantage of the situation and after a war sparks the independence of Balkan states and seizes territories. However, Russia's rising status is frowned upon by Western powers, who meet in Berlin to review the treaty. This worsens Russian public opinion about Germany. The latter then signs a defensive military alliance with Austria-Hungary. Italy joins the alliance after France seizes Tunisia, which it long covets. The three parties form the Triplice or the Triple Alliance. Germany, now a major power, embarks upon a colonial policy. The country brings together European powers in Berlin to establish rules around colonization. Then
it is the largest armed conflict that humanity has known. A deadly war that involved tens of millions of fighters around the world. Let's retrace on a map a summary of the main events of World War II. At the end of World War I, Germany and its allies are defeated and held solely responsible for the war. With heavy sanctions imposed upon them, the Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires are dismantled, while Germany has to repay what many consider an unreasonable debt. Its colonies and some of its territories are ceded to the victors and to Poland, which is recreated. These sanctions are seen as humiliation by the German people. The German economy is weakened by excessive debt and suffers hyperinflation. National mints try to address this by printing banknotes, causing a devaluation of its currency. Between 1914 and November 1923, the value of the mark grew by 1,000 billion. The following year, radical measures are taken to halt inflation and stabilize and revive the economy. But in 1929, the Wall Street crash in New York causes the worst economic crisis of the 20th century. Its impact is felt worldwide, with Germany not spared either, causing the unemployment rate to explode. Severely weakened, Germany sees a rise of nationalism in 1933 that allows the rise to power of the Nazi Party with Adolf Hitler at its helm. Despite the strict conditions imposed upon Germany after World War I, the new totalitarian regime resets the country and restores military service. The country also begins an aggressive foreign policy with the dream of uniting all German-speaking people. Italy, despite its victory with the Allies, is frustrated by the amount of territory it gained after World War I. Since 1922, the country is ruled by the dictatorial fascist party of Benito Mussolini. Italy begins a colonial policy by seizing Ethiopia and prepares a future invasion in Albania. In Spain begins 3 years of civil war opposing the Republican government supported by the USSR and the International Brigades and the nationalist camp led by Francisco Franco and aided by Italy and Germany.
C'est l'histoire d'un conflit qui, pendant longtemps, a divisé le monde en deux.
What is the great issue between the free world and the communist world?
Tear down this wall.
Et d'un pays qui, après avoir mis un terme à cette guerre, n'a peut-être pas dit son dernier mot.
К чему это все придет, я не знаю. но я знаю точно, что мы вынуждены будем отвечать.
30 ans après la fin de la guerre froide, la Russie est de nouveau en guerre, mais cette fois-ci en Ukraine. Entre 2014 et 2019, au moins 13 000 personnes sont mortes dans l'est du pays. Et la Crimée n'est plus ukrainienne, mais russe. Depuis la fin de la guerre froide, le fossé entre la Russie et l'Occident n'avait jamais été aussi grand. La question est, comment en est-on arrivé là ?
Et la réponse est compliquée. Mais commençons par ça, l'Ukraine.
L'Ukraine, c'est très important pour les Russes. C'est le berceau de la civilisation de la Russe de Kiev, autrement dit, un peu l'équivalent des Gaulois pour les Français. Et puis pour beaucoup de Russes, la Russie et l'Ukraine, c'est quasiment la même chose. Il faut dire que depuis 200 ans, les territoires russes et ukrainiens n'ont presque jamais été séparés, sauf aujourd'hui.
Mais il y a un endroit en Ukraine auquel les Russes sont particulièrement attachés.
La Crimée. La Crimée, c'est cette presqu'île au nord de la mer Noire. Pendant la Seconde Guerre mondiale, la péninsule et son port, Sébastopol, ont notamment eu un rôle stratégique dans l'affrontement avec l'Allemagne. Et jusque dans les années 50, elle appartenait encore entièrement à la Russie. Mais c'est alors qu'intervient Nikita Khrouchtchev. En 1954, le dirigeant soviétique décide d'offrir la Crimée à l'Ukraine. À l'époque, elle est présentée comme un cadeau pour célébrer les 300 ans du traité de Péréaslav, qui unit pour la première fois l'Ukraine à la Russie. Mais bon, dans les faits, ça ne change rien, puisque l'Ukraine n'est alors qu'une des républiques de l'Union des républiques socialistes et soviétiques, et que ses frontières sont purement administratives. La Crimée reste donc soviétique, et le port de Sébastopol continue même d'être administré directement par Moscou.
Таким образом, согласился бы с предложением Николая Платоновича о том, что нашим, так сказать, западным партнерам можно дать последний шанс с тем, чтобы предложить им в кратчайшие сроки заставить Киев пойти на мир и выполнить Минские соглашения. В противном случае мы должны принять то решение, о котором сегодня говорится.
Что значит, в противном случае вы предлагаете начать переговорный процесс?
Нет, я...
Или признавать суверенитет? Говорите прямо.
Я поддержу предложение о признании...
Поддержу или поддерживаю? Говорите прямо, Сергей.
Поддерживаю предложение...
Так и скажите, так, да или нет?
Поддерживаю предложение о вхождении Донецкой и Луганской народных республик в состав Российской Федерации.
Да, мы об этом не говорим, мы этого не обсуждаем. Мы говорим о признании их независимости или нет.
Да. Я поддерживаю предложение о признании независимости.
Хорошо, пожалуйста, садитесь. Спасибо. Владимир Александрович.
Many, it's a profile in courage. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky holding his ground in the face of extraordinary danger, choosing to remain in Ukraine, declining a reported U.S. offer of safe evacuation, telling the world through a tweet shared by the Ukrainian embassy in Britain, "The fight is here, I need ammunition, not a ride." The 44-year-old drawing global praise for his messages of resolve shared on social media. Telling the world we're still here and inspiring ordinary Ukrainians to join in the fight.
It's too late, my dear colleagues, to speak about de-escalation. Too late. The Russian president declared a war on the record. Should I play the video of your president? Ambassador, shall I do that right now, or you can confirm it? Do not interrupt me, please. Thank you.
Then don't ask me questions when you are speaking. Proceed with your statement.
Anyway, you declare the war. It is the responsibility of this body to stop the war. So I call on every one of you to do everything possible to stop the war.
This isn't called a war, this is called a special military operation in the Donbass.
Relinquish your duties as a chair. Call Putin, call Lavrov to stop aggression. And I welcome the decision of some members of this council to meet as soon as possible to consider the necessary decision that would condemn the aggression that you launch on my people. There is no purgatory for war criminals. They go straight to hell, Ambassador.
I wanted to say in conclusion that we aren't being aggressive against the Ukrainian people, but against the junta that is in power in Kiev. There are no more speakers on the list. This meeting is adjourned.
Russian state TV coverage of Ukraine today concentrated on the Donbass in the east of the country. Viewers aren't seeing the enormity of what's happening across the whole of Ukraine as the Kremlin presents its version of this invasion. One of Russia's leading independent journalists told me he's in disbelief.
I'm in deep shock. I can't believe my eyes. I can't believe my ears, and it's a tragic, really tragic moment for Ukraine, for Russia as well. Russia, from the view of the whole world, is turning into a pariah state like Iran or North Korea.
As the effect of sanctions batters Russia's currency, on the streets they're taking stock of President Putin's decision. I think if this is in the interests of Russia, then I support it, this man says.
I think that not all people support with Putin, but I don't know. But no, I think that it's a very bad situation, and I want to cry.
Mr. Prime Minister. It seemed like business as usual for the man who's trying to force a new world order. President Putin meeting Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan.
President Putin's plans for invading Ukraine would have factored in sanctions and international condemnation. But the unknown in all of this is whether the strength of the world's response will have any impact. It seems very unlikely.
No to war, they shouted in Moscow tonight and in other cities.
So I would like to read from the screenshot of the smartphone of a killed Russian soldier. That's an actual screenshot from someone who is dead already.
Alyosha, how are you doing? Why has it been so long since you responded? Are you really in training exercises? Asks the mother of the killed soldier. Moments before he was killed. Mom, I'm no longer in Crimea. I'm not in training sessions. Where are you then? Papa is asking whether I can send you a parcel. What kind of a parcel, Mama, can you send me? What are you talking about? What happened? Mama, I'm in Ukraine. There is a real war raging here. I'm afraid. We are bombing all of the cities together, even targeting civilians. We were told that they would welcome us. And they are falling under our armored vehicles, throwing themselves under the wheels and not allowing us to pass. They call us fascists. Mama, this is so hard. This was several moments before he was killed.
Imagine, if you want to just visualize the magnitude of the tragedy, you have to imagine next to you, next to every nameplate of every single country in this General Assembly, more than 30 souls of killed Russian soldiers already. Next to every name of every single country in this assembly. 30 plus killed Russian soldiers. Hundreds of killed Ukrainians. Dozens of killed children. And it goes on and on and on.
Fighting in the streets as brave Ukrainians repel the Russian advance. The Russian invaders are meeting fierce resistance across Ukraine, their burned-out vehicles abandoned by the roadside. Video from a military drone shows a direct hit on an armored Russian column. CNN's Matthew Chance walked through the aftermath of a street battle in a Kyiv suburb.
What kind of munitions does it take to do that to a vehicle? There's unexploded grenades, in various, like pineapple grenades everywhere.
A woman in Ukraine's second largest city shot this video diary after fighting there.
And this is the place where Ukrainian military destroyed a column of Russian light vehicles.
This video shows tanks halted by an unarmed human tide. Kira Rudik, a member of the Ukrainian parliament, tells Inside Edition she has taken up arms.
Before 5 days ago, I have never held a gun in my life, and right now I'm training to use Kalashnikov to be able to protect whom I love.
Russian saboteurs are said to be painting signs on the roofs of high-rises, marking them as targets for an aerial attack. Ukrainians are being asked to cover them up, but some can be seen only with a UV light. There are signs that the Russian reverses are causing Putin's mental state to deteriorate.
He's increasingly unhinged.
He seems erratic. He's descending into something that I personally haven't seen before.
Hundreds of thousands of women and children are fleeing to Poland, triggering a humanitarian crisis. I spoke to CBS News correspondent Christina Ruffini, who was there.
When these people make it across the border, right? Are you just noticing an immense sense of relief on their faces?
Ukrainians are tough people, and so far what I've seen is just putting one foot in front of the other and just taking it one step at a time. You know, getting here is just step one, right? They've got to figure out where they're going next, where their kids are sleeping, how to get out of the cold, how to get some food. And so it's just kind of a steely-eyed determination to keep going.
Rafik, Yura, Magomed, Evgeny, Pavel, Mikhail. 21 years, 20, 19, 21 years, I just turned 22. I'm from Dagestan, Nizhny Novgorod, incomprehensible. Russian army private. We arrived here for drills. We were not told anything but march forward. The commander just told, you are going there. We were going in a column. When we started to cross the border, I asked the commander, why are we doing this? He answered me to shut up. I didn't know that I was going to Ukraine. They deceived me. We were told that we would go there and come back. They told us that we will go into the fields, set up tents and live there. We didn't ride deep into Ukraine when we were hit. My car blew up and I was pushed out of it with the explosion wave. We became captives in the town. We didn't shoot back. We became captives in the town. We didn't shoot back. We laid our weapons at once. We were deceived and sent to war like cannon fodder. I didn't think that I will have to kill someone. I knew nothing. I was afraid. We are being sent to war like cannon fodder. Everyone gets shot at once. We were going in a column and almost everyone in it dies. I didn't want to fight. I wanted to live. I will say that Ukrainian military are nice guys. They did not hit me and gave me food. For what? Everywhere here live peaceful people and no one wants war. I was operated and now I feel better. No one abused me. We have food. No one beats or abuses us. We surely did the same that the Nazis did. We attacked peaceful people and they are just defending themselves and their land. No one attacked Russia and I don't understand what they want from this war. Mom, Dad, I love you. I'm okay. I have food and I'm healthy. Do not worry. I am alive and healthy. Don't go to Ukraine. Here people live their own lives. Its army is protecting their country, their families and children from the Russian army. And you prevent them from life. Do not let your children here. Don't go here. You would better gather up and stand up against Putin. He is guilty in all of this.
Thank you for joining us in such a difficult time right now. How are people reacting in Ukraine? What are you seeing?
Hello everyone. People are horrified on one hand, but on another hand, they are ready to protect their land because we are here standing on our land. It's our country, it's sovereign country, and none of other countries, no bloody Putin or Hitler or however you call him, will tell us what we should do and tell us that part of our land is not our land. Our people are not our people. But overall, the situation is very difficult. You can't imagine. Today, I woke up at 5 a.m. because of explosion. I heard explosion, and it was actually attempt to bomb Kyiv. Currently, tonight, another bombing of the capital city of Ukraine might happen, and we recommend people to go underground to subway or to their underground, and believe me, it's horrifying. I'm telling you, it's not as just regular citizen, but as member of parliament and mother of 2 children. Today, Putin and Russian troops, and we're not talking about, some separatists. It's Russian troops with Russian flag on their uniform. They were bombing cities all over Ukraine, not only eastern part, but also west, Kyiv, capital city, Odessa, some other big cities. We have lost about a couple dozen people, including children. Children were murdered today because the world was not serious about Putin. The world was not serious about sanctions on time. And now it's like every minute, every hour is important. So what the world can do now and what US should do now, 2 things. Please start with SWIFT. If you block Russia from SWIFT, it will really help, because then Russian citizens will come out to their streets and ask Putin what is he doing, not only with Ukraine, but with their own country. He's killing and he's ruining lives, not only Ukrainians. He's murdering Ukrainians, literally, but he's also ruining life of his country and his citizens, and his citizens should tell him. So I beg American politicians to block Russia from SWIFT now. Please save Ukrainian men, women, and children.
Helena, I can hear it in your voice. I mean, this is
citizens.